So the first thing I need to talk about here is which of the two methods for this chapter I'm going to be using. I'm actually going to be doing this chapter the quote-unquote normal way first, only because I just feel like it makes for better viewing than the stealth version. So to further clarify how the stealth version of this chapter works, we have these enemies here that are all labelled as Watch. Their attack range is effectively their line of sight. As long as you are outside of their attack range on the enemy phase, you won't be spotted. But if you're anywhere within this area at the beginning of the enemy's turn, you'll get detected and reinforcements will appear. You also get detected if, as I said during preparations, you kill one of the watchmen or you try and break down a door. So as you can see there, it says strength 60. That means you need to do 60 damage to the door to break it. But even attempting to break down a door will instantly get you spotted. Also, they felt the need to imprison one of these treasure chests. It must be a very evil chest or something like that. Also, you might notice a bunch of NPCs on the map here. Also, this is an escape chapter. We can actually have the NPCs escape the map for extra bonus experience, so that's cool. I'll be showing them in a minute. Firstly, I just want to show that we have these soldiers and the boss. They don't count when it comes to the stealth method. You can let them attack you, you can also kill them, that's fine. What's also interesting is these two archers are myrmidons on easy and normal. They're only archers on hard, but them being archers, if anything, actually makes this easier because you can provoke them into attacking Soren, for example, and kill them off that way. So, who do we pick? Now, obviously, we're gonna have to dump some people. No Mia. I probably don't want Ileana. And I probably don't want Boyd, sadly. Because I do want Lef, Mordecai, and Mist. Okay, I'll need to dump someone else. I can drop you, unfortunately. And I actually want Marsha because even though I'm not really going to be using her, having a Pegasus Knight is actually going to be pretty useful here to either carry the NPCs or carry people to the NPCs, or even carry Volk around. Speaking of which, I'm going to have Volk go a little forward. Actually, wait, if Volk is here, I might be able to show off something. Though, in fact, that might be better served if I have someone with lower movement there, because Mordecai has a very, very useful starting skill. Left will go back here, and I think I'm fine with all of my other positionings. So, as for these NPCs, hello, whoa, your stats are ridiculous, but apart from speed, yeah, I hope you join us. Obviously, he's not going to join us because, yeah, that would be kind of stupid. Also, something kind of funny. Mantle. This skill. This is an interesting skill. A lot of people, I guess I'll talk about this once we get to the chapter itself, because there used to be a lot of misconceptions on how Mantle works, but I'll describe how that works when we get to talking to him. We also have Brom, who's an Armor Knight, no weapons. Kiran, an Axe Knight, also no weapons. And you, who need no introduction because you're amazing. So yeah, this is Nephene's first appearance. She's a playable soldier. I guess it's a bit of a spoiler to say she's playable, but I mean, come on, obviously she's going to be playable. So I'll first clarify, in order to recruit these three, on easy, normal, and hard, the only criteria is that their cell doors have to be open before the chapter ends. You don't actually need to talk to them. So don't worry about that. However, I will be talking to them because you need to convert them into yellow units to get the extra bonus experience for having them escape the map. Now, on Maniac mode, which is Japan only, you have to convert them into yellow units because they need to escape the map in order to join. But only on the Japan only Maniac mode, so keep that in mind. You don't need to worry about that in this version of the game. Now, while Brom and Nephene can be talked to with Ike and they will just turn into yellow units right away, Kiran is a bit different. If you want to turn everyone into yellow units in this chapter, you have to bring Oscar. And I feel like this is a little bit of a guide, dang it, but it'll make sense once we get there. So for now, let's move out. Also, Lef automatically transforms at the start of every chapter, which is pretty awesome. And she has a pretty enormous movement range. Okay, so you might notice that Soren does not have enough movement to reach one of the Watchmen. However, I smite you! Smite is such a cool skill. It's why, if you ever have a spare well, that's unfortunate. I had a feeling that you wouldn't be able to one round, but anyway. It's why, if you have a spare deployment slot, you should always consider using it on Mordecai, even if you don't plan on training him. Smite is just so useful, and Mordecai is so heavy that he can smite even a lot of mounted units. I believe he is the only person in the game who can smite Marsha at base. And smiting Marsha is pretty useful. Also, yeah, if one of the soldiers gets attacked or dies, he immediately alerts the others. I might show what happens if one of the soldiers dies, because there's a bit of different dialogue if that happens. It's kind of funny how the boss here talks about capturing you alive, and yet your characters still die if they are lost here. Gameplay and story segregation. So this spawns a lot more enemies on the map, including a bunch of enemies from your starting position. So that's why I wanted to get spotted as quickly as possible, because otherwise, yeah, you might be caught off guard by these guys. So let's have Leth take them down. We can finally see her battle animations. Something that's funny, I feel like cats move in this game like they're constantly on ice. Just look at how they slide around on their paws. Leth only gets a little bit of experience. I don't think she gets quite as little experience as most promoted units do. She's not technically considered promoted, but the amount of experience she gains is kind of similar. She doesn't gain a lot of experience, let's just say. Well, that's annoying. And that's also annoying. I was kind of hoping that I could finish some of these guys, but I might have to instead go for an Oscar attack. Probably have him hit and run. I'll be showing this in the stealth version of this, but the Watchmen normally have a set patrol route that they just go around in circles on. Anyway, 8 damage and 4. Yeah, Ike is fine. Ike is totally fine. I mean, my Ike is very defense-blessed, but even if he wasn't, he'd still probably be fine here. Also, there's another one of those maps that looks pretty dark on certain TVs. It's not quite the infamous one that I mentioned that turned pretty much entirely purple, but this map is fairly dark. Oh, yeah, that archer. I'll need to get Marsha out of there as soon as I can. That's kind of interesting. The one with the lower level has a better weapon. Of course, it also means that he has incredibly bad speed. I'll also need to get Mist to safety. I may need to rescue her with Marsha if needs be. Titania, seriously! I fully get why people call her Critania now. I guess she'll stay here. Yeah, because now all three of them are fully blocked off, because I have a cat barricade here. Which means that as long as Mist stays out of range of the archer, she'll be fine. Now, we do finally need to worry about these guys actually attacking us, so watch for that. And Volk will get attacked if he tries to open this door, but he can handle one enemy. Let's go ahead and unlock the door. Yeah, you can try and break it, but that's stupid. Doors effectively count as having 0 defense. They're just kind of like snags in the GBA games, or walls. Except that there is no Devil Axe in this game, so you don't need to worry about killing yourself on them. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, she'll be able to hit and run. Or I could just use the javelin, but yeah. Actually, I probably should have her fly up here, just to rescue some people. Fun fact though, there actually is concept art of a Devil Axe in this game. So, there's evidence they plan to include one at some point. You always get adept when it's pointless. The concept art of the Devil Axe actually looks really cool. I've seen it from the art book. And of course these guys are going to be running up to get us. Not they're really that much of a threat. Even if you summon the reinforcements, there's not that many. And they're not all that strong either, so this chapter's actually pretty slow and chill this way. It's probably a little bit more stressful if you're trying to do it the stealth way. Speaking of the stealth way, so let me elaborate on why I am doing it this way, because I don't particularly consider the stealth version to be good viewing, for the most part. Well, one, you're not really fighting many enemies, but two, You basically need to follow a turn-by-turn walkthrough. You can try and stay out of the enemy ranges as best you can, but you won't be able to know their exact patrol routes without a turn-by-turn walkthrough, and there might be some points where you have a character who's blocking off their range, and then you move them, and it turns out that someone you thought was out of sight is in sight. Meanwhile, the prisoners talk for a bit here. Actually, seeing him with his helmet on here. And as you can tell, Kieran is a very interesting character. He's pretty fun. That kind of reminds me of Sir Robin's minstrels from Monty Python. Don't worry, help is already on the way. Okay, so what to do here? I really want to actually finish you off, but I'm just short of that. However, I could have Volk go up and just shank you in the face a little bit. Or crit you. That's good too. But yeah, even with crits, knives are just terrible in this game. I don't think I've shown you just how weak they are. 2 might, so yeah, basically the same as Wind Tomes. But unlike Wind Tomes, they hit on defense, not resistance, which is generally the higher of the 2 stats for most enemies. And they don't have weapon ranks, and there are only 3 types of knives in the game. Which is kind of a shame, because Volk actually has some pretty solid growth rates. He's just let down by his weapon being terrible. I guess that's kind of why, if they ever do remake this game, I'd really like to see, let's get rid of the Thief ban for now, because I might want to give out those keys to other people just to help me complete this chapter faster. But yeah, I'd like to see them implement the knife system from Fates, because I really like the way they handled knives in that one. Well, actually, the only thing I didn't like about the way they handled knives in that game was the fact that... In fact, I might have to have Titania attack this guy because he's kind of hard to kill. The fact that Shuriken were totally superior to knives. There was just very little you lost out on by using Shuriken over knives. But I loved how they debuffed enemies, and I loved how the knife classes acted as basically dedicated mage hunters. I thought that was a really cool concept. And I really would have... I don't know, I'd love to see them continue that if they continued the series. Because, I mean, from what I can tell, knives aren't that good in... let's see, in fact, I might have to have Leth kill you off. Knives aren't that good in Heroes from what I've seen. I mean, even Kagero, who has a weapon that's effective against infantry, is still... I still don't really hear about her being used all that often. It's kind of a shame, because Jafar... I mean, Jafar's one of my favourite FE7 characters. I still haven't pulled him in Heroes, but I'm kind of disappointed to find that he's not really considered that good. I mean, he did get a buff recently, like he gained a new dagger, but I still don't know if that made him any better. But yeah, that's kind of a shame. So yes, I hope they make it so that, I mean, choose one of either knives or shuriken to continue. You really don't need both. And I hope that they continue that in whatever the next Fire Emblem game is, because I really like the way that they handle knives in... Yep, that's actually an empty space where no one can attack, so I might go there and have Marsha take one of the keys. Because just because I'm not really using her to fight doesn't mean I can't use her to open doors and stuff. Okay, wait. Actually... Okay, I can smite Ike backwards, but that's kind of dumb. Yeah, you can't smite someone if there's something in the way of 2 spaces of them, but... Smiting Titania upward might help out. It looks painful, but Smite is pretty cool. I guess I can now tell a story about Smite that I found hilarious. So, Smite does exist in Heroes, I'm pretty sure. And so something hilarious about that is that, in fact, I can smite... You're not Mordecai. I thought you were Mordecai for a second. If I smite Ike, I can actually get him to talk to Sephiroth right now. But yeah, what I was saying was that Smite is in Heroes, and something pretty funny happened in Heroes with Smite. It was that... let's see, yeah, I think I'll whack you. In one of the... That's not Grand Conquest, what is it? Rival Domains, that's it. So one of the Rival Domains maps, it's the one with the river, the first Rival Domains map to be available. So I was playing one of the, I think it was like Lunatic or something, and I was having it on auto battle, so I wasn't really paying that much attention. But I noticed that at one point, the enemies had just completely circumvented my characters and were attacking one of my bases. And I was wondering how that happened, because I was blocking off the bridge that led to that base. So I was confused, and then I realized what was happening when I paid more attention to the enemy phase. Effie was smiting people across the river. And those people were more often than not cavalry. So that just gave me the amazing image of Effie just picking up the cavalry units, horse and all, and just shot putting them over the river. Because I can fully imagine her doing that. That is something that I can see as being in character for her. So yeah, I want to see fan art of that now, because that's amazing. Anyway, that's just my funny story about Smite. One issue of Marsha is that her starting resistance is not that high for a Pegasus Knight, really. But speaking of resistance, this guy has pretty insane resistance. Let's talk to him. This conversation isn't essential at all. Well, none of the conversations are essential, but you can't recruit this guy, and you can't even turn him into a yellow unit. He's a pilgrim. You're a monk, but the monk class isn't in this game. Yeah, makes sense for the villains to just run up and arrest a random healer. Ah, yes, of course. The enemy army, of course, would not give fair trials. Which reminds me of a certain line, I will see to it that you will receive a fair trial, after which you will be shot. Pretty much sums up most corrupt militaries in fiction. Well, the door's already open. So yeah, he doesn't turn into a yellow unit, though I've heard that you can get him to escape if you rescue him and carry him to the escape point. I've never actually tried that before, so this will be a first. I guess we'll find out whether or not that's true. Okay, you do 9 and you do 10, but you only get attacked by 2 of them. I'm pretty sure Soren is going to be okay. And if Marsha stays here, she'll only get attacked by 2 of them as well. And none of them will double her, obviously. Does anyone need healing? Oh yeah, I didn't get to fully explain what I wanted to do with the, Okay, so I got interrupted by the NPCs earlier, but yeah, didn't get to fully explain what I wanted to explain about the stealth version. So, of all the turn-by-turn walkthroughs I've seen of doing this chapter the stealth way, I can still only find one. I actually did do this chapter stealth before. In fact, I've got a recorded playthrough of the stealth version of this chapter here, where I fully admitted that I did use a turn-by-turn walkthrough that was not my own. So I do have that video up, but I might as well do an updated version by doing it for this playthrough. That walkthrough I used back there, it's still the best walkthrough I can find, which is kind of a shame. I'd hoped that somewhere, since then, someone had done a better guide, but doesn't seem like it. I've heard that someone did do a lunatic guide for it that gets all of the bonus experience, but it also requires Oscar to be promoted. But then I heard that you don't need Oscar to be promoted if some things, yeah, it's kind of confusing, but this guide seems to be the best one that I've found currently online. And best one still takes over 30 turns. So here's the thing, even if you do get the maximum bonus experience reward for doing this chapter the stealth way, From what I can tell, there is no way to also get the maximum turns bonus experience while doing it stealth. Because, well, at least not without okay. So at least not without getting everything else in the chapter. So the stealth guide that I saw was for stealth while also opening every cell door, getting all the chests, and killing the boss. So basically getting everything optional out of the chapter and doing it the stealth way. Doing that, I'm pretty sure it's impossible to also make the turn limit, because you just need way too many turns to do all of that. Like I said, you don't need to talk to any of the prisoners. All you need to do is make sure their cell doors are open. I would like to get rid of you from range, but I'm not sure that's going to be possible. Actually, it is going to be possible. Nice one, Oscar. I like to talk to all of the NPCs, so that's going to mean that I will even more not be able to get all of the, because that also will make it even harder to make the turn limit. Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, the guide also gets the maximum amount of bonus experience from having all of the prisoners escape. Yeah, I'm pretty sure doing that and also being stealthy and making the turn limit is not possible. Actually, I'd rather heal Soren here. And I probably want to smite... Actually, I don't need to smite Volk. I need to either smite Volk or Marsha. Yeah, her weight's definitely enough for Mordecai to smite her. So let's do that. Ah, how useful being able to push a Pegasus 2 spaces is. Yeah, let's just get rid of you. So yeah, those are the main reasons why I don't want to show this chapter the stealth way as the main playthrough. I mean, it's a lot of bonus experience as a reward, but you get quite a bit of experience for fighting this chapter the normal way too, as you can see. Anyway, since Marsha's got that covered with her door key, I'm going to have Volt go up here. Even though it's going to be a while before I can get to Nephany, because I need Ike to come down here, because Ike still needs to talk to Bron. And Left's transform gauge is... It's not really, really low, but it's running a little low. Always got to keep an eye on your transform gauges when you're using Lagoos. And I need Oscar to... Okay. Yeah, I won't really be able to get Oscar in there for another few turns anyway. But let's have you unlock the door with a key. And you can door and run. Okay. Oh yeah, speaking of transform gauges, Mordecai's transformed now. Always takes him a while, but I would say it's worth it when it does happen, but not exactly. Okay, your transform gauge is running a little low. Maybe I'll have you go on rescue duty for Ike. I just realized I'm pretty sure the reason why Lagoos have such massive weight, even in non-transformed forms, is probably so that if they're carrying someone while they're transformed, they won't suddenly be forced to drop them when their transform gauge runs out. Although, actually, yeah, I'm pretty sure there are certain units that Mordecai can only carry while he's transformed. But anyway... I wonder if I can start luring you guys in and not killing you with Titania's hand axe. Actually, I probably should have used the javelin because that doesn't have weapon triangle. And Volk will go here to grab that chest because, like I said, no real point to talking to, well, to opening Nephany's cell just yet. I want to get Ike to talk to her. Also, even after I convert these NPCs into yellow units, I won't be ordering them to run for the exit until the coast is fully clear. Because I'm pretty sure that if any of them die here, they are dead, and thus will not join you afterwards, even if their cell doors are open. Okay, so now let's have Ike go in here. Actually, yeah, no, Ike will have to be next to Brom anyway. And Lagoos, unfortunately, don't have Kanto, but now... Okay, wait, should I have Ike talk to Kieran just to show that conversation and just to show that he stays a green unit if you do that? It's going to cost me a few turns, but I might as well do that because I want to show all the conversations. Now, Volk will open up this. Costing me 50 gold, but that's fine. 50 gold is absolutely nothing. Like, seriously. To give you an idea of just how plentiful gold is in this game, I have no idea what happens if you try and have Volk open a door and you don't have enough gold for it. I don't know. I've never been in a situation where that's happened. I'm guessing you just don't get the door or chest command. Because I don't even know if he has dialogue saying, I'm sorry, you don't have enough money for that. Because I've never been in this situation where I've not had enough money to open a door or chest with him. Okay. Okay, that comes just short of killing you. Might as well try and weaken you too. Again, Titania's kind of juggernauting everything because Ike and Soren are really the only other two that I have that I'm mainly using. That will change because one of these prisoners is someone who I plan on using later, and you can probably already tell who. Yeah, I know I said I wasn't really going to be using Marsha because using her is kind of cliche, but using this character is also kind of cliche, but she is one of my favorite characters in the whole series, so... Finally! Okay, that's good. I think Ward is D rank, but I'm not entirely sure. Neither of you have javelins, so I guess I could have Marsha open the door here. I don't think you ever have to worry about the prisoners getting killed unless they're out of their cells, and while they're NPCs, they'll never try and move out of their cells. It's not like Lilina in FE6, where even though she's in like an enclosed position, you do have to worry about enemies attacking her, or Midia, I think, in Mystery of the Emblem, where enemies will be attacking her. Okay, so for now, I'm going to have Ike talk to this guy. So you don't have to have your toenails pulled and things inserted into your soft underbelly and other horrible things. So yeah, obviously it makes sense for a normal civilian not to know about Elincia. We'll have to explain that later. So he's a partner unit now, and I can direct him. In fact, I feel like I might want to order him to target. How you get the NPCs to escape is just to order them to target on the escape point. They'll automatically escape once they reach there. I was going to say I might want to have Mordecai go and grab Sephirin just to see if he can escape or not, but I might need his smite. Actually, what am I thinking? Grabbing someone is not going to impact his ability to smite people. And here I really wish I had a dancer so I could have Soren kill both of these. But, I don't know. Maybe I can just do this. I don't particularly want Titania to kill off that halberdier on the escape point. And yes, because this is an escape chapter, you can just completely ignore the boss if you want. He's totally optional. But he does have a very nice item, which I might want to get my hands on. Marsha's keys are pretty much useless at this point. We've already opened everything we can with them. That short spear isn't droppable, unfortunately. Okay, that knight will be able to move down. Not too worried for now, though. The boss, I'm pretty sure, does move. Usually once you get in range of his lackeys, which is a little easier if they're archers. Like I said, they're myrmidons on easy or normal for some reason. I've always liked that, though, particularly in Fates, just the way they handle difficulty by not just simply raising enemy stats, but actually changing the enemy types and compositions, and in some cases even changing your deployment locations. I always thought that was cool. This is one of the few instances of this here. Oh yeah, and this treasure is one that a lot of people tend to ignore sometimes. This increases build, i.e. constitution, i.e. weight. That would be really useful if this was one of the GBA games, but it's not. This is, in fact, one of the Tellius games, and thus weapon weight is determined by something entirely different. Your strength stat. So having extra weight really only affects rescuing and shoving. I forget if there are certain people... Okay, no, wait. There is one thing that having extra weight does affect, It's the ultimate skill of warriors and berserkers. It's not really that good of a skill, but it's better than some of the ultimate skills in this game, which most of them are really ultimate in name only. But yes, weight does affect that. You know, if you move... Actually, wait, no. The other guy won't be able to get to Soren, so I think I'm fine with that. And I highly doubt Soren is going to get doubled. Now we have all 4 phases though, which is unfortunate, because that means we'll have to sit through a lot of fanfares during every turn. I do kind of like the fanfares though. Once again, hashtag Critania. I like the fanfares a lot better in Radiant Dawn, though. You'll see why once we get to that game. That game really went all out with the different fanfares. Don't think I've actually mentioned it before, but this game doesn't have separate player phase and enemy phase themes. Every map has the exact same music regardless of what phase it is. And I actually really like that, because it means you get to hear a lot more of these really great songs. Okay, so I promised that I'd show... Oh, I can't even talk to him anyway, I'm an idiot. Didn't realize that. So in fact, Oscar has to be the one to do it. And you'll find out why Oscar has to be the one to do it right about now. Clearly, it's a very one-sided rivalry. Kieran is great. And there's more instances of Dastard, which a lot of people complained about that in the FE4 fan translation, but no, official Fire Emblem translations have been using that since the very beginning. So he does know about the princess. Good that we have at least one person here who knows. That'll help vouch for her. Aaron is great. Yeah, he's definitely a decent knight. So that's the only way to turn Kieran into a yellow unit. You have to talk to him with Oscar. Thankfully though, if you forget to bring Oscar to this map, you can still recruit Kieran. All you need to do is make sure his cell door is open. It's actually kind of a jerk move on Maniac mode. I pressed the wrong button there. But yeah, on Maniac mode, you actually have to bring Oscar if you want to recruit Kieran. Because, yeah, he needs to escape the map. Yeah, that Halberdier seems content to just sit on that escape point, which makes sense, but I kind of like Soren to be the one to finish him off. I'm going to go ahead and do this, even though Titania is probably going to critical, since that tends to be what happens with her. I'm going to need to get Ike to move at the double towards Nephany, though, because I want to show all those conversations. Also get used to this map theme, because we'll be hearing it for a while. And that's one archer gone. So yeah, you can still fight these guys, even if you're going for stealth, because they don't count as watch. Them and the boss. It's kind of weird that you're allowed to let the boss of this prison facility know you're here, but not any of the other guards. Actually, no, I need Marsha to go back. She needs to carry Ike. And meanwhile, Mist will just... Well, Mist can go back and try and heal Ike when I need to. Actually, no, she'll be on standby here because I may need to heal Soren. And Volk's... No, Volk's work is not done here. I need to open those chests. I always forget about those 4 chests near the boss. And that's exactly what I wanted to happen. I wish we had another shorts. Really? I wanted Soren to get that kill, but you just had to do that, didn't you? Oh well, at least the escape point is clear. I'll have to have Soren kill the boss to make up for it. The boss has a steel blade, so almost everyone is probably going to double him. The boss actually has some interesting dialogue with Leth and Mordecai as well. I mean, he's got lines for Ike too, but... Anyway... Let's go ahead and do this, and I'll put you there because then Leth can grab Ike. Yeah, I can still take the trade and drop him right in front of Nephany. I'm not really that good at rescue chaining like that, but that's kind of the closest I've got. I know that you can do really crazy things with it and complete chapters insanely quickly, but I don't know, I've just never really been that good at rescue chaining, personally. Okay, now I can't get into your range without also luring that guy. Wait, 17. In fact, you actually have just enough strength to avoid being weighed down by that, and 10 speed is not bad for a general. However, I really don't want to put Soren in your range. That would be really dumb. And yeah, since I can use fire, might as well use this, because like I said earlier, and you're probably wondering why I keep saying this, but I want Soren to get to a C in fire before, I'll just say, chapter 22. Necessary critical, but oh well. It'd be kind of cool if criticals gave you more weapon experience or something. That'd at least give some point to getting a crit, even when the enemy was going to die anyway. Oh wow, you're already level 15. Yeah, I'm going to need to work on that for a bit. And yeah, I'm guaranteed at least a neutral weapon triangle if I equip the javelin against this boss. And right now, yeah, Volk has to go here to go for those chests. And Oscar, maybe you'll be able to ferry some people around later on. You'll see a lot of Oscar rescue ferrying in the stealth version of this chapter, because you need to do that quite a lot. And thankfully, really? Well, we know who's getting MVP for this chapter again. I wonder if this will be a repeat of my first playthrough where, let's just say, this game tracks the kill counts of every character, and the first time I played, also this guy's pretty insane. The first time I played this game, the amount of kills Titania had was just ridiculous, especially compared to everyone else. Also, I think this is the first time we're seeing a general, which is weird. You normally fight them a lot earlier. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk to you. Yeah, she probably doesn't know who the princess is, and she's a lady of few words. Thankfully, she's a yellow unit now, so she'll be heading for the exit, although... Actually, I might need to kill this guy this turn. Just realized that. Although I'm easily capable of hitting this guy and then running down here to block off Nephany from going to where the boss can attack. Although I need to be careful of Soren. Okay, that's only 11 might, which means that it will do 1 more damage than that if Soren gets attacked, which is 22. Soren will survive regardless. That's fine. But I do have to remember to make Titania hit and run here. Otherwise, Nephany may be in trouble. And we really don't want that. Generals don't look that different from regular, should I say big clingies, don't look that different from regular clingies in this game. Some of their animations I find though look almost robot-like. Especially their sword animations. Oh yes, generals use lances and swords in this game, it's kind of funny how they keep changing the weapons that generals use in almost every iteration of the class. The most common is axes and lances, I think, but they've been everything. Like in this game, they're swords and lances. In Shadow Dragon, they're lances and bows, which made them the very first on-foot class to use that weapon combination. And in Awakening, they were back to lances and axes, I think, which was kind of funny because that meant that the Black Knight, despite being a spot pass character, he couldn't use swords, which are like his signature weapon. Oh, okay. Now is the perfect time to demonstrate how stealing works. So, in this game, it's not just items. You can actually steal weapons. However, you need a strength stat higher than the weight of whatever you're trying to steal. So in this case, I can't steal his... Did not intend that to be a pun, but I can't steal his steel blade. Also, you can't steal equipped weapons, so you can't render a boss useless through stealing. This is pointless, but I might as well just do that just for humiliation. That doesn't magically cause any of his weapons to become droppable or anything like that. Okay, yeah, he's got defense 7, Volt's fine. Right. Even if the boss attacks Kirin, he should be fine. But you know what? Mounted units are hard to rescue. Should have already learned that by now. But even if Kirin goes there, I'm sure he's going to be okay. 12 speed versus that. I mean, I could have Leth try and block where Kirin can go, but yeah. You know what? It might actually be faster to just carry you with Marsha to the exit point. Because I can drop you and then it'll be the ally phase and then you can escape that turn. Okay. Evany, you really shouldn't have gone there, but oh well. I kind of had a feeling you'd do that. Mostly because the AI loves to go for unarmed characters. Unequipping Titania is a pretty effective luring strategy. You know, I might as well just go for this just to show the special conversation. Short, but pretty great. And there's the robot-like animation I was talking about. Oh, that was enough for a level up, too. And, like, needs to be here to escape anyway. Well, magic is kind of bizarre, but... Actually, I have the Nightbound in you. I might want to switch to the Archer Band now, because 13 speed at level 15 on Ike is really not good. Yeah, Ike should have been able to double this guy by all rights. Now let's just finish you off. And then I don't need to worry about the NPCs. Then all I need to worry about are the chests. Thankfully this chapter doesn't end when all the enemies are gone. That almost makes him sound like a Dalek executed, and then he's gone. And yeah, we're guaranteed to escape because there are no more enemies left. This chapter is pretty easy, even if you don't go for the stealth method. Soren's getting a surprising amount of defense, which I'm not complaining at all. Who got the chest keys? Titania had 2 sets of them. So let's go ahead and start opening them. A steel lance. Oh, there's no one who can run next to Titania and take her chest key and get me to open 3 chests in one turn. Oh joy! A counter skill scroll! That's amazing, right? Yeah, really the one person that I can recommend counter on, and I use the term recommend very loosely, is Boyd, because Boyd has a ton of HP and not a lot of defense, so at least when he counters back a lot of damage, but it's still there. I still don't think counters very good in this game. I probably should have had Oscar rescue Anthony, but oh well. So yeah, as you can see, the NPCs will escape if you let them. Brom should leave too. and Nephany should be leaving next turn. Okay, I actually would normally be able to escape with everyone this turn. Yeah, I'll be taking next turn anyway because I have to have Volk and Titania get these chests, so they can't escape until next turn. Another Javelin is okay, but I bought a lot of those. And we have here, Short Axe. That's actually great. The better version of a Hand Axe. Long overdue for one of those. They're also a little rarer than Hand Axes are, though, so don't use them too frequently. Okay, so now I just need to get a little bit of healing, but moment of truth time. Let's see if Sephiroth actually escapes the map if you rescue him all the way here, because, yeah, there's no way to turn him into a yellow unit. But I've never actually done this before, so this will be a first. At this point, I might as well have everyone start escaping. Nothing left for us to do here. So I should take this time now to say that this, I believe, is the last escape chapter in this game. Which is kind of a shame they only use it twice and only early in the game. Because of that, while every playable character does have escape quotes, everyone who joins after this point, you will not be able to see their escape quotes. But yes, they do exist. In fact, even a couple of NPCs who are never on the map have escape quotes in the game's data. Yes, Nephany will have to... Oh, right. Okay, so I guess that information was wrong. Sephiroth doesn't try to escape. That's unfortunate. So you just cost me an extra turn, Sephiroth. Which effectively renders the, bonus experience I'm getting for probably one person here wasted, but oh well. I had to try that, but it seems like you can't have him escape after all. And now we can finally leave. Nope, not with Ike first. Of course, Volk is always mysterious like that. Actually, what happens if... Maybe this is what they meant. If someone escapes while carrying Sephiroth, does that count? Does that count? I guess we'll find out. Maybe that does count. And we have all the chests, everything's done. Let's leave. We're also about to hear some amazing music. Well, good to know not everyone during that escort died. Well, good to know that one of Crimea's generals is still alive. We'll find out his significance a lot later. So, now I can talk about this music. This is a remix of A Knight's Oath from FE7, which is in turn a remix of the Bittersweet Victory theme from Maths games. I didn't actually know that at the time. So it's a remix of a remix, and it is just so awesome. I remember when I first heard this, I was like, wow, this is a great remix. I actually did a whole video, though, on the evolution of this theme. It's interesting how it went from a Bittersweet Victory theme to a theme of heroic knights. It's just... I feel like okay, I did say this in that video, but there was an obscure CD called Fire Emblem Character Theme that gave a remix of that song as Hardin's theme, and I feel like that was the origin of it being used as the sort of night theme for the series. By the way, this is the character whose name was Chap in the Japanese version. Nephine's name is the same in both versions. Yeah, it's all of our hopes. However, at the moment, we're just not strong enough to do that. These two are going to be coming along with us. As is Kirin, obviously. I'll give all three of their bios in the next base part, because that's technically when they're first playable. Meanwhile, this guy. They seem to have known him. This dialogue here is actually slightly different if you didn't have Ike talk to Sephiroth during that chapter. You get a few extra lines where Sephiroth actually introduces himself. That's the only effect having Ike talk to Sephiroth during the chapter has. Not to mention, I question the fact that your stats are insane for just your everyday wandering monk. And the fact that you have a skill that makes you literally invincible. Well, that was mysterious. Oh, right, meanwhile Volk, hi there. Yeah, technically we only hired him for that chapter. Titania still doesn't like this. Well... Okay, I think Soren's about to give a really good line. I think I remember this one. Yeah, this is amazing. I love that conversation. So like, he's standing right there, I don't think he minds. So, you have two choices here. I'm gonna let him come with us. We'll definitely have need of a thief going forward. Granted, by the next chapter we will have chests, we will get another thief, so even if you said no, you don't need to worry about having a shortage of thieves later. But 2 thieves is better than 1. Typical Fire Emblem protagonists, they always attract a very strange group of people. Just another one of the burdens of being a leader. A lot of dialogue at the end of that chapter, but yeah, okay, so 130? Okay, I forget exactly how much bonus experience every ally is worth, but if you go... Okay, so Nephany, Kirin, Brom, that's 3, and then Sephira would make 4. That number doesn't seem divisible by... Okay, wait a minute. So the ally escaped is every ally, not just the NPCs. So that's all of us, plus every NPC who escaped. I'll have to calculate this later, because I forget exactly how many characters we were allowed to deploy for that chapter, but I'll be showing up on screen whether I was right about Sephira and counting or not. I'm kind of interested to find out, because I've never tried that before. But anyway, that's a little bit of bonus experience. If you leave the chapter completely undetected, you get 700, and it's also one of the few batches of bonus experience that is not halved on the Japan-only Maniac mode, which is interesting. It's always 700, so it's actually really worth your while to do this chapter the stealth way there. Of course, it's a lot harder, because there you have to have Brom, Kirin, and Nephany escape the map if you want to recruit them. But anyway, that's all for Prisoner Release. Next time, we'll be talking about our 3 new recruits, and then we'll be moving on to an interesting chapter. A very interesting chapter. One that I haven't really been looking forward to, because usually, if there's one chapter that I tend to fail numerous times early on in the game, it's this one.